One Piece. Domination of the Pirate World. Chapter 11. Nami didn't recover until Arlong and his group arrived. Arlong had just heard the noise coming from the back room. Kruby, who was sent out to monitor Nami, hadn't come back yet, so Arlong knew something must have happened. He hurriedly led a group of fishmen to the back door, and saw Kruby lying on the ground with a bloody mess. Arlong was furious and shouted, "Kruby! You lowly and weak race, humans, dared to kill my brother, go to hell." Arlong picked up the large serrated knife in his hand and chopped at him. Eren chopped dozens of times in a row, but failed to hit the target. Zhang Bei seemed to be laughing at Eren. He kept dodging with his razor and said, "In fact, it seems that the fishman is really not that strong. It seems that he is really useless without water." Indeed, Eren came to the back door. There was no swimming pool in this place, and naturally there was no water flow. This greatly reduced the attack power of the fishman. Zhang Bei also had a huge advantage in this regard. Zhang Bei originally thought that he was a devil fruit ability user. Although he didn't have much ability, Zhang Bei found that he still couldn't touch the sea water, otherwise he would not be able to use his strength. "What? You lowly races like humans. How dare you laugh at the great fishmen?" Eren was already furious, but his speed couldn't keep up with Zhang Bei's razor, and the serrated broadsword couldn't hit him at all. "Are you going to run away?" Eren roared. "Then let you have a taste of this." Storm kick. Zhang Bei kicked out more than a dozen storm kicks. Along dodged left and right, but unfortunately he still couldn't avoid one of the storm kicks and was kicked directly into the wall, smashing the wall into rubble. The rest of the fishmen couldn't avoid these dozen storm kicks and were hit and lay on the ground. "This is the Navy 6 style. You are a Navy." "Yes, I am here to save Kiki Yaxi village and catch you." Zhang Bei responded expressionlessly. "We, the Dragon Pirates, paid protection fees to Colonel Mouse. Why did you, your Navy send someone here?" Arlong covered his wound, stood up and said. "You are stupid, you paid him protection money, not me, it's none of my business." Zhang Bei shrugged and responded helplessly. "Well, you are much stronger than Colonel Mouse. Tell me, what do you need? We in the Arlong Pirates have it all. Money, women, treasures, we have them all. Ha ha ha, why not cooperate happily, and we can let you rule this Cocoa West village." Eren knew that he was no match for Zhang Bei, so he thought of cooperating. Eren thought Zhang Bei would readily agree. After all, what Zhang Bei meant by what he just said was that he had to pay him protection money. Nami heard Eren's words and suddenly became nervous, fearing that Zhang Bei would agree to Eren's conditions and become another Colonel Mouse. Eren could not have expected that Zhang Bei scratched his head and said, "Why are you grinning alone?" "That's right, I want one thing, that is your head. Oh, no, it's a fish head, sorry. How dare you tease me? Shark-toothed cart." Eren's face was bulging with blue veins, and he pounced directly at Zhang Bei, opening his bloody mouth and preparing to bite Zhang Bei. Eren didn't have any fancy skills, because Eren himself was a weapon, with a serrated nose, bones as strong as steel, and the strong arm strength of a merman. He also had teeth that could regenerate continuously, and a powerful jaw with enough bite force to bite off a cannonball in one bite. Apart from that, he was more flexible and had more skills when fighting in water. Who knew that Zhang Bei would fly directly into the air with the moon step, and said, covering his nose, "You are so arrogant." Iron Teeth Kung Fu. Eren took out his regenerative teeth and rushed towards Zhang Bei. Shave. Finger Gun Huang Lian. Zhang Bei shaved and flashed behind Along, and then Along was greeted by a random attack with a finger gun. "Ah!" Eren roared. Although Eren had endured the attack of the finger gun Wanglian, he was still able to stand up and fight. This shows that Eren's physical fitness is indeed good. Flying Finger Gun, 3 waves. Zhang Bei chased after him with the flying finger gun, which kept hitting Along. Along could only scream in agony after being attacked like this. "Nami, look at him like this, is this still the Eren who rules your Cocoa West village? The bounty is 20 million berries, but he is so vulnerable." Zhang Bei smiled and said. "Help me, kill him." Nami uttered these words, and the hatred that had been accumulated in her heart for many years burst out in an instant. "Oh my, I originally wanted to hand you over to the naval base for detention, but since Nami said so, I think there is no need for you to live in this world anymore. Little ghost. Don't be too arrogant." Aaron no longer had any strength left and could no longer stand up. I have a new trick that I can try out on you. Stand still. Finger gun ban. Finger gun ban is to use both hands to quickly shoot with the finger gun, which is also one of CP9 Rob Lucci's moves. Bang. After enduring Zhang Bei's last trick, Along could no longer stand up. He was completely dead. His body was covered with bloody holes left by the gun. It could be said that his body was completely bruised. This Long is really tough. I really have no strength left after hitting him. After using the finger gun continuously, Zhang Bei felt that he was really exhausted. Using the finger gun Wanglian requires a lot of physical strength, and the physical strength consumed by the finger gun ban is almost twice that of the finger gun Wanglian. Thanks, Zhang Bei. Thank you. Nami knelt on the ground, covering her mouth, and cried again. Okay, stop crying, it's not a big deal. Seeing Nami still crying, Zhang Bei couldn't help but said. However, he didn't expect that Nami cried even louder after Zhang Bei said that. Unconsciously, a large group of villagers from Coco West Village came to Dragon Park. Seeing the scene of the complete destruction of the dragon pirates, everyone was excited and jubilant, and some even whipped the corpse of the fishman, which shows how much the villagers of Coco West Village hate the fishman. Nokiko. I'm here. Did you see that? We won. Kokoasi Village will no longer be ruled by the Arlong pirates. At this time Nami stopped crying. Because she saw her good sister Nokiko who came with her, and Mr. Kensuke, the village policeman of Kokoasi Village who once protected their family. They hugged each other tightly, and the scene was very warm. Nami saw the sunset gradually coming. After everyone knew that Kokoasi Village was saved by Zhang Bei, the Navy captain, they were all grateful to Zhang Bei, and even held a banquet in the Arlong Park to celebrate the rebirth of Kokoasi Village. At night, Zhang Bei had dinner with Nami and Nokigo at the Orange Orchard. Nami kept telling Nokigo how Zhang Bei had single-handedly wiped out the dragon pirates. Zhang Bei could only eat quietly and embarrassedly. But Zhang Bei was very happy because he felt that Nami had turned back into the lively and lovely little girl. Nami, do you want to go sailing with me? Zhang Bei suddenly asked. No. The two people answered in unison. Why? Zhang Bei asked. Aren't you a navy? If I go sailing with you, do I have to be a navy? Nami asked. I used to be a captain in the navy, but after seeing the darkness of the navy, I decided to leave the navy and become a free pirate on the sea. Zhang Bei sighed and said. We have finally been able to protect the Orange Orchard together. Are you going to separate us and let Nami go out to sea with you? Nohigao said angrily. I know that Nami likes to draw nautical charts. Nami should be an excellent navigator in the future, and I just need a navigator, so I need Nami. Zhang Bei smiled and said. But, if I go out to sea, Nojiko will be left alone in the orange grove. Nami lowered her head, not daring to look at Nohigao. It was obvious that Nami also wanted to go sailing. Nokigo, you also know my strength. To be honest, my strength is comparable to that of a Commodore. There is absolutely no problem sailing in the first half of the Grand Line. I will protect Nami with my life and ensure that Nami will not be injured. Zhang Bei knew the concerns in Nokigo's heart, so he spoke. All right, if Nami really wants to go out to sea, then let her go, but you must not let Nami get hurt. The Grand Line is not like the stable and peaceful East China Sea. There may be danger at any time. Nohigo thought for a long time and responded. Nami, come with me. You can earn a lot of berries as a pirate. You can easily carry hundreds of millions of berries with you in the future. Zhang Bei knew that Nami was an absolute money grubber, so he said temptingly. Good. Okay, but, from now on, the money on the ship must be under my control. Nami pouted and pointed at Zhang Bei. Okay, I'm really not interested in money. There are still millions of berries on the ship, you can spend them as you like. Zhang Bei said with a smile. Zhang Bei thought, I finally tricked Nami onto the ship, but it's a pity for our protagonist Luffy. There's no way, I really can't find another navigator as good as Nami. Nami, we're leaving early tomorrow morning and packing our luggage, is that okay? Okay, I understand. Nami responded. Then I'll go to bed first. Oh, by the way, if you like oranges, just bring a few orange pots to the boat tomorrow. Zhang Bei went to bed after saying that, because Zhang Bei knew that he had to give Nami and Nokiko time to chat. After all, they would be separated tomorrow, and there would always be some reluctance. The next morning, the villagers of Cocoa West Village knew that Nami was going to go to sea with Zhang Bei, and they gathered together to see them off. Nami and Nokiko hugged each other and burst into tears. It took a long time before they finally set sail. As expected, Nami brought a few orange tree pots and placed them in the room on the ship. Although this ship was robbed, it can be used temporarily. When we arrive at the 7 water cities, we can ask the people in the shipyard to build one. Maybe there will be a chance to communicate with Lucci about the 6 types of the navy. The 7 water cities have become a target for Zhang Bei, but now Zhang Bei's target is the Grand Line. Although Nami has no sailing experience yet, with her extraordinary sailing talent, she communicated with Zhang Bei about sailing issues for a few days. After a week, the two finally saw the upside-down mountain at the starting point of the Grand Line. The world of One Piece is divided into 4 seas, namely the southeast, northwest and northeast, by the Grand Line and the Red Earth continent. The Grand Line is a ring-shaped ocean area that intersects the Red Earth continent vertically. It is the most magical and dangerous route in the world. Both sides of the Grand Route are dangerous doldrums. The first half of the Grand Route is called Paradise, and the second half is called the New World. The geomagnetic field, celestial phenomena, ocean currents, and air currents of the Grand Route are in chaos. It is difficult to even confirm your position, let alone find an island. The previous navigation technology and experience are unreliable. Only the recording pointer and the permanent pointer are trustworthy. If people from all over the world want to enter the Grand Route, in addition to crossing the doldrums, they can only enter the Grand Route through the upside-down mountain. At the same time, the upside-down mountain is also the starting point of the Grand Route. The upside-down mountain is an incredible and dangerous mountain, and it is the entrance to the Grand Route. There are 5 waterways on the upside-down mountain, which are X-shaped, with 4 inflows and 1 outflow. The water in 4 of the waterways flows from bottom to the top of the mountain. These 4 rivers connect the 4 different seas of the East China Sea, the West China Sea, the South China Sea, and the North China Sea. The last waterway flows into the Grand Route. As for why the water flows up the upside-down mountain, it is probably because the ocean currents in the 4 seas of Southeast, Northwest, Northeast and Southwest are too strong enough to allow the water to overcome gravity and flow upward. There are 7 magnetic forces extending from the upside-down mountain. You can choose any one at the beginning, but no matter which island the magnetic force starts from, once you choose it, you cannot change it, and you can only go along the waterway 1 island at a time. As expected, Zhang Bei met the Whale Lab and Uncle Crocus who guards the lighthouse at the upside-down mountain. Nami was scared when the Whale Lab appeared, but she became obedient after being severely beaten by Zhang Bei. Zhang Bei also chatted with the Whale Lab, and promised that if he saw Brook on the Grand Line, he would tell Brook that Lab is still waiting for him. And Zhang Bei knew that if he didn't find him, he would be in trouble. Uncle Crocus is afraid that it won't work, because in order to sail on the Grand Line, you must have a record pointer, but Nami doesn't have it. But Uncle Crocus just happened to have a record pointer, and this record pointer was finally obtained by the Straw Hat Pirates. And Zhang Bei suspected that the record pointer recorded the route of the pirate king Galdi. Roger. So Zhang Bei really wore out his lips and tried every means in the hands of Uncle Crocus, and even said something embarrassing like, "I am the man who wants to become the pirate king." Finally, he tricked the record pointer from Uncle Crocus. And Zhang Bei suddenly remembered that the route recorded by this record pointer is the route of the Straw Hat Pirates. In other words, Zhang Bei has to walk the route of the Straw Hat Pirates again. And he may face the first king of the 7 warlords of the sea, Crocodile soon. To be honest, Zhang Bei's current strength is not enough to beat Crocodile, because Crocodile is a natural devil fruit ability, sand fruit. Without armament hockey, it is impossible to hurt a natural ability user. Oh well. I can only take it 1 step at a time. Zhang Bei thought. Then, let's go. The direction pointed by the record pointer is the next destination, Whiskey Peak. Billy. Hello, who is this? Zhang Bei picked up the ringing Den Mushi and asked. Zhang Bei, I didn't expect you to get into trouble so soon. You defeated the dragon pirates in the East China Sea, right? The Navy headquarters didn't know about this at first, but Colonel Mouse reported it under his real name. Colonel Mouse also found out that you were a captain in the Navy before, and handed the information to the Navy headquarters. Now you have been wanted by the Navy headquarters and a reward has been issued. Colonel Isaac said in a deep tone on the other end of the phone. Oh, really? Wow, I'm actually wanted. How come I don't know how much my reward is? Zhang Bei was in a very good mood when he heard that he was wanted, which made Colonel Isaac mad. Colonel Isaac continued, your wanted poster says that you are the captain of the Zhang Bei pirates. Your bounty is 20 million berries, and your crew has nothing. Oh my god, I haven't even decided on a name for my pirate group yet, but the Navy decided on it for me. Also, the bounty for Arlong, the captain of the Arlong pirates, is 20 million berries, and I killed everyone in their entire pirate group. How come I only get 20 million berries? It should be at least 30 million berries. Zhang Bei was very unhappy when he thought that the first bounty was not as high as Luffy's first. Isaac knew the reason, and said, it's probably because you don't have any crew members. You are the only one in the entire pirate group. And Mouse doesn't know that your 6 types of the Navy are already very strong, so the Navy doesn't pay much attention to you. It can be said that they will not send any powerful naval generals to capture you. Alright, that's it for now. Contact me if you have anything. The weather on my side, the Grand Line, doesn't seem to be very good, ha ha ha. Zhang Bei hung up the phone immediately after he finished speaking. It's obvious that Isaac's expression is very bad. After entering the Grand Line, Zhang Bei and Nami were greeted by all kinds of climatic chaos, with spring, summer, autumn and winter coming and going. On this day, there seemed to be a lot of fog around, and the front could not be seen. When the fog dissipated, what came into view were cactus-like peaks, with overlapping peaks. Seeing this scene, Zhang Bei knew that the first destination, Whiskey Peak, had arrived. Nami, look. That's Whiskey Peak. We're here. Zhang Bei shouted to Nami. Hey, are we finally here? I've had enough of the terrible weather on the Grand Line. Welcome to the Grand Line. Welcome to our town. Welcome to the warm and welcoming town of Whiskey Peak. Welcome, pirates. Hey, why are there so many people on the shore? Seeing hundreds of people on the shore raising their hands and shouting in welcome, Nami was still shocked by the scene. Haha, it's okay, Nami, they are the villagers of Whiskey Peak who are here to welcome us ashore. Zhang Bei didn't tell Nami that these people had bad intentions. We need to stay at this Whiskey Mountain for a while until the record pointer finishes recording. Nami looked at the record pointer on her hand and said. Of course, maybe they will warmly entertain us with a banquet or something. When the time comes, don't be reluctant to leave. Zhang Bei smiled and said. Amid cheers and greetings, the boat slowly approached the shore, and Zhang Bei and Nami also got off the boat and walked ashore. The one walking in front was naturally the mayor of Whiskey Peak Town, and of course, the intermediate agent of Baroque Workshop, Ikalem. Zhang Bei knew all of this clearly, and he also knew their next routine, so he was not panicked at all. Adventurers, hello, welcome to Whiskey Peak. I am Ikalem, the mayor of Whiskey Peak. Ikalem said with his standard smile. Ikalem was wearing a suit and tie, with a tall figure, a rectangular face, and spiral-like curly hair. He looked like a foreign musician and was very funny. Hello, I am Zhang Bei, and this is my navigator, Nami. Zhang Bei smiled and said. Hello, I am Nami. Nami smiled sweetly and said. This is a town famous for its winemaking and music. We are most proud of entertaining guests. There is as much wine as the sea here. Let's enjoy the feast with your adventure stories so far. How about enjoying the feast together? Ikalem asked with a smile. I'm happy to do so. Zhang Bei smiled and responded. Wait, Mr. Ikalem, how long does it take to record the magnetic force on this island? Nami suddenly asked. Records. Let's put aside this boring thing for now and relieve the fatigue of the journey first. Ikalem interrupted the topic directly and said loudly, Come on, everyone, prepare a banquet and entertain the adventurers. The banquet did not begin until the sun went down. As soon as the banquet began, Zhang Bei ate meat like crazy. After being hungry for a few days in the Grand Line, it was really uncomfortable for Zhang Bei to have no chef on the ship. And Nami was dragged to participate in the drinking competition. At first, Nami was still reluctant to drink, although she knew it was a wine drink. But as soon as Ikalem said that the prize for the champion was 100,000 berries, Nami swept all opponents. Miss Monday, a mid-level agent of Baroquerque, disguised herself as a nun to fight Nami, but she couldn't drink more than Nami and was drunk by Nami, so Nami won the championship of the drinking competition. Just like that, late at night, the two of them ate and drank enough and fell asleep. Did you fall asleep after playing? I wish you sweet dreams, adventurers. The dancing cactus rocks in the moonlight are also beautiful tonight. Ikalem stood outside the door, looking at the moon in the sky, and said to himself. You really look like a poet, Ikarim, not Mr. 8. Mr. 9 said, sitting on the steps. Like Mr. 8, Mr. 9 is a mid-level agent of Baroque works. He is thin but dressed like a king, with a crown on his head, which looks very funny. Miss Wednesday also sat on the steps with Mr. 9. Miss Wednesday is a young girl with long aqua blue hair and a slim and well-proportioned figure. Although she looks only 16 years old, her development can be said to be very good. However, Zhongbei knows that Miss Wednesday is an undercover agent who has infiltrated Baroque works in disguise, the princess of the kingdom of Alabasta, Nefertari Vivi. Where are they? Miss Wednesday asked. They all fell down, into hell. Ikalem responded. Really? This girl is such a heavy drinker, so I mixed some alcohol into her drink. Otherwise, she might still be awake and making a scene. But, is it really necessary to stage such a strenuous drama? They are just two weak-looking brats. Wouldn't it be better to defeat them at the port? Besides, our town is worried about food. Miss Monday suddenly walked out of the door, took off her disguise as a nun, and said to Ikalem. Miss Monday is a muscular. The black female man, wearing a red tights, showed off her muscle lines. Although she looks rough, she has a sweet voice. The difference is really huge. I have already investigated them both, you see. Ikalem took out the reward order for Zhongbei and said. 2.20 million berries. Just that little brat. Several people said in surprise. It's foolish to judge pirates' abilities by their appearance. Ikalem said with a serious expression. I am so ashamed. Miss Monday scratched her head and said. But forget it, the matter has been resolved. It seems that I can report the good news to the boss. Hurry up and take down all the treasures on the ship. Ikalem said. So, what about them? What should they do? Mr. 9 asked. If you kill them, the bounty will be reduced by 30% because the government wants to publicly execute them. Go ahead and capture them alive. Ikalem said calmly. I said, can't you let me have a good sleep? Zhongbei sat on the roof, yawned, and said with a gloomy face. Oh no, Mr. 8. Miss Monday, when I wasn't paying attention, the little devil ran away. He is right there. Miss Wednesday looked at Zhongbei sitting on the roof and said. Shouldn't you be fast asleep? Although Ikarim couldn't figure it out, he knew that things were already very bad. He was going to fight the pirates with 20 million berries head-on, and the nervous sweat had already begun to flow out. Suddenly, more and more people with weapons gathered in the square. These people were the villagers of Whiskey Peak who were welcoming the Zhongbei pirates on the shore today. Rather than being villagers, they were actually members of the Baroque workshop and bounty hunters. Haha, that's what's going on. This is the lair of bounty hunters. They want to rob all the pirates who come to the Grand Line with pride, right? Zhongbei stood up and said calmly. There are about 100 bounty hunters here. But you alone are no match for me. How come you know the name of our company? You don't need to worry about this. But I know that the staff of Baroque Works don't know each other's origins in the company. You only call each other by code names. Of course, the boss's whereabouts and even his true identity are a mystery to the members of the club. A criminal group that only faithfully executes orders, this is the Baroque Works. Oh, this is a secret, right? Zhongbei looked down at the 100 people below and said calmly. This really surprises me. Since you know our secret, I have no choice but to kill you. Cactus Rock, there will be another tombstone. Ikalem said with a gloomy face. Go. Kill him. Ikalem shouted. Hearing Ikalem's order, about 100 people rushed towards Zhongbei with weapons as if they were starting a riot. The moonlight enveloped the earth and reflected on Zhongbei. Zhongbei was expressionless and ready to start the massacre. Zhongbei only said a few words lightly, Then, start clearing the soldiers. Shave. Buried. What? Remove. Disappeared. Where on earth did you run to? Flying finger gun push. Zhang Bei hid in the dark with a razor and kept attacking with the flying finger gun. Ah! 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 Screams rang out, and countless people fell down. There was no other way. After all, even if there were 100 bounty hunters of this level, it would be useless. Where is he? The middle-level agents of Baroque Works were sweating profusely at this moment, constantly alert to any movement around them, but they could only see the members around them falling one by one, but still did not see the enemy. Okay, now I have a question for you. With so many people here, is there any room for the cactus tombstone? Zhang Bei flashed behind Ikolem, made a pistol gesture, pointed at Ikolem's head, and asked. Except for the cadres of the Baroque Works, all the other soldiers in the square fell to the ground. This move really scared the cadres of the Baroque Works. In just an instant, only a few of them were left out of hundreds of people. This level was simply not something that mid-level agents like them could match. You are really alone. Can deal with all of us. Ikolem didn't dare to move at this time, fearing that he would be the next to fall. Just you. You have the nerve to call yourself an agent. Baroque Works only has your president. Mr. Zero is a strong enemy. Zhang Bei said calmly. How do you know our president? Zhang Bei's words shocked the whole audience. Since Zhang Bei knew the true identity of the president, he was definitely not on the same level as mid-level agents like them. Of course I know, and I also know the true identity of you, Ikarim, and Miss Wednesday. After thinking it over, Zhang Bei decided to expose the identities of Ikarim and Wei Wei, because Zhang Bei knew that the route of the record pointer would pass through Alabasta, which might lead to a confrontation with Mr. Zero, the president of Baroque Works, who is also one of the 7 warlords of the sea, Crocodile. What? How do you know? Ikolem exclaimed. Mr. 8, you are Ikarim, the captain of the Alabasta Kingdom's guard. Miss Wednesday is the princess of the Alabasta Kingdom. You two are undercover agents at Baroque Works to investigate the Baroque Works, which is trying to instigate a civil war and overthrow the Alabasta Kingdom. Am I right, Princess Vivi? Zhang Bei smiled and said. This statement naturally shocked everyone again. No way, this is a lie, Mr. 8, Miss Wednesday, you two are actually undercover agents of our Baroque Works. Mr. 9 said to Ikolem and Wei Wei with an unbelievable expression. The other 2 agents of Baroque Works, Mr. 9 and Miss Monday, were already confused at this time. I have worked with you for so long, and you are actually undercover agents. No one can accept this. Who are you? How do you know our origins? Princess Wei Wei clenched her fists, her voice trembling. She had been an undercover agent for a while, but she never thought she would be discovered. And it wasn't even discovered by her own people. Please let Princess Vivi go. If anything happens to Princess Vivi, the kingdom of Alabasta will be finished. Ikolem knew that his mob could never be Zhang Bei's opponent, so he could only kneel down and kowtow to beg for mercy. Princess Vivi, please leave me alone, hurry up and run away. For the sake of the country, if we lose you, our Alabasta kingdom will be. Let's go. Hurry up. Ikolem lowered his head and shouted to Wei Wei. Oh, although I have no idea what's going on, I'll buy you some time since we've been partners for so long. Let's go, Miss Wednesday. Mr. 9 said, holding the iron bar in both hands and blocking in front of Wei Wei. Mr. 9. Even though he knew that Wei Wei was an undercover agent, he still stood by Wei Wei and protected her, which really touched Wei Wei. I'm a pretty good man, bye-bye baby. Hey, the passionate number 9 backflips. The stick of perseverance. Mr. 9 was seen doing a backflip with an iron stick and attacking Zhang Bei. Finger gun. Mr. 9 took several gunshots and fell down. Zhang Bei also knocked Miss Monday down. But Zhang Bei didn't kill them. After all, Mr. 9 was a funny guy, but he was a kind and righteous man. He wasn't too bad. He didn't want to kill him, so he went easy on them. Hey, calm down, do I look like a bad guy? Zhang Bei was speechless. He hadn't even said what he was going to do to them, but they were already thinking he was up to something. At the same time, Nami was searching the room where the treasure was hidden in the town. Are these all the treasures? What kind of bounty hunter's lair is this? What a disappointing town, Whiskey Peak. Nami looked at the empty box and muttered to herself. Hearing the sound of fighting outside, Nami knew that Zhang Bei had dealt with all his opponents, so she walked to the square and saw the scene just now. Hey, Nami, aren't you asleep? Although Zhang Bei knew that Nami would not be fooled by such a stupid scam, he still pretended not to know and said. Who would be so stupid as to fall asleep in such a strange town that welcomes pirates? It's all acting, acting. And I can still drink. Nami said with a smile. At this time, only Vivi and Ikolem were left in Baroque works. Vivi had already made a gesture to prepare for attack, while Ikolem was still kneeling on the ground begging for mercy. Okay, now that it's just the two of you, you can talk freely. Don't you just want to save Alabasta? I can tell you that Mr. Zero, the president of Baroque Works, is actually a pirate recognized by the world government, Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Crocodile. Zhang Bei looked at Wei Wei and said lightly. After a pause, Zhang Bei continued, and the rebellion that is about to happen in the kingdom of Alabasta is also organized by Baroque Works. Crocodile's goal is to control this country. Really? It's him. Princess Wei Wei. This important news must be sent back to the country. Ikolem suddenly stood up and shouted. Crocodile. Princess Wei Wei gritted her teeth and tried to control her anger. Then she walked to Zhang Bei, bowed deeply, and then, without looking up, she continued to say to Zhang Bei, My lord, although I don't know where you got this information from, I know you must have a way to save our country, Alabasta. Please, you must help save our country. The people of our country are all kind people. Princess Vivi. Ikolem looked at the princess who was willing to bow her head for the country, and tears were already streaming down his face. He could no longer speak. Just as Zhang Bei was about to speak, he was interrupted by Nami. If I help you solve the rebellion in Alabasta, will the king give you a reward? Nami smiled like a money grubber, looking at Ikolem and Princess Vivi and said. Of course there is. As long as you can protect Princess Wei Wei, you will definitely be rewarded. Ikolem nodded and said. So, how about 1 billion berries? Nami said with a sly smile. 10 billion. 1 billion berries. Ikolem was so frightened by this number that he almost fainted. Miss Nami, this 1 billion berries is not something I, the captain of the guard, can promise. You can ask the princess for her opinion. Ikolem had no choice but to ask Wei Wei for help. Why, do you think that the survival of Alabasta is not worth this price? Nami saw that Ikolem was in a dilemma, so she continued. That's simply impossible. Alabasta is a country in the midst of war. If it's 1 billion berries, we can't do anything, but if it can save our country, 500 million berries is still okay. Vivi looked at Nami with a firm look in her eyes and said. Hey, Nami, you didn't even ask for my opinion. Although Zhang Bei knew Nami would make such a request, he still felt speechless when he heard Nami say it so directly. Hey, 500 million berries, 50% off, okay. Anyway, the opponent seems to be easily defeated. The members of this Baroque works are so vulnerable, the president must not be much better, right? Then it is not a big deal for Zhang Bei. Nami counted her fingers and said. Nami, I think you must not have heard clearly what I just said. The president of Baroque Works is one of the 7 warlords of the sea. 7 warlords of the sea. Do you think I am a match for the 7 warlords of the sea? I don't think so. Zhang Bei spread his hands and said helplessly. What? What, 7? Shichibukai. I've heard of them. They're all extremely vicious guys. Otherwise, let's just forget it. For the sake of our lives, we should not take the 500 million berries. Nami said with a painful face. Zhang Bei pondered for a while and said, I can help you Alabasta Kingdom. Although I am not a match for the 7 warlords Crocodile at present, I still have a way to deal with Baroque works. Thank you so much. If there is anything we can help you with, please let me know. Vivi, do you believe me? Zhang Bei raised his hand and placed it on Vivi's shoulder, looking at Vivi affectionately and said. Zhang Bei thought, it would be a sin if he didn't flirt with this ready-made princess. It is said that all the princesses of every country that have appeared in the entire One Piece, as long as they are beautiful, have been flirted with by Luffy. Although Luffy himself was confused. For example, Princess Vivi of the Kingdom of Alabasta, Princess Shirahoshi of Fishman Island, Princess Rebecca of Dressrosa, and Sanji's sister, Princess Reiju of the Vinsmoke family. Zhang Bei was getting angrier and angrier the more he thought about it, it was so hateful. In the entire One Piece, no princess could escape Luffy's clutches. Vivi blushed because of Zhang Bei's trick, and the next moment her voice was as small as a mosquito and she said, I believe in you. Thank you, Zhang Bei. Thank you for helping us save this country. So we are partners now, right? Wei Wei, you should have the contact information of Baroque Works. You and Ecolem should contact them. Tell them that Whiskey Peak town was breached by pirates and some of the mid-level agents have been killed. Ask Baroque Works to send high-level agents to assist you. Zhang Bei said after thinking for a while. Okay, let's go and pass the message to Baroque Works now. Vivi nodded, and went to send the message with Ikarim. Because Zhang Bei knew that the senior agents of Baroque Works were not so easy to deal with, and each of them was a devil fruit user. Zhang Bei needed to clip the wings of Baroque Works step by step, and finally leave Crocodile alone, then there would still be a chance to save Alabasta. Zhang Bei guessed that after receiving the message, Baroque Works should send 2 senior agents. After all, the place called Whiskey Peak can indeed make money. It is one of the economic sources of Baroque Works, and it is also the residence of some members of the club. Therefore, Baroque Works should not sit idly by, but for the pirates who have just come to the Grand Line, sending 2 senior agents is more than enough. So Zhang Bei decided to set a trap at Whiskey Peak, lure 1 or 2 senior agents over first, and get rid of 2 as 2. A few days later. Whiskey Peak. Just after Zhang Bei and his party waited for a few days at Whiskey Peak, one night. As expected, Baroque Works sent 2 senior agents. Hello, Miss Valentine, this is strange, there is no one in this town, has it been occupied by pirates? However, there is no sign of destruction or fighting. Mr. Point 5 pinched his nose and said to Miss Valentine beside him. That's really interesting, Mr. 5. Let's give them a taste of our power. Miss Valentine said with a smile. Mr. Point 5. Baroque Works senior agent, the user of the parahuman explosion fruit. Any part of his body can explode, even his boogers. The air he blows out of his mouth can also be used as an explosive. Mr. Point 5 has the characteristics of black people, black skin, thick lips, special explosive hair, wearing a pair of brown sunglasses, wearing a brown leather jacket, and his number 5 on the leather jacket. Originally, this look is not bad, like a rock music singer, but Mr. Point 5 always likes to pick his nose and pop it out to use as a bomb. Zhang Bei thinks this is really disgusting. Miss Valentine, a senior agent of Baroque Works, is a superhuman light floating fruit ability user. She can change her weight freely. The lightest is only 1 kilogram, but when she floats in the air and stands directly above the enemy, she will immediately become 10,000 kilograms and press down. Zhang Bei remembers that in the play, her ability is to change her own weight. If you think about it carefully, this ability is really good, and she can even fly in the air easily, but she is also a master who squanders natural resources. With such a devil fruit, she is still very weak. She was killed by Luffy and Zoro twice in Whiskey Peak and Giant Garden, which is really embarrassing. She looks like a very sunny girl, and the clothes she wears are all dresses with sliced lemon prints. But he is very frivolous. He is Mr. 5's partner. He always likes to hold a parasol, and he always talks with an exaggerated laugh, and he likes to scream and laugh. The 2 of them walked slowly on the streets of the town, and the moonlight sprinkled on the ground, illuminating the shadows of the 2 people. But apart from the shadows of the 2 people, no one else appeared. Suddenly, a sudden voice broke the silence at this time. Land kick. Zhang Bei kicked the 2 people below on the roof. Oh no. Get out of the way. Mr. After 5 sensed the threat, he immediately jumped to the side, while Miss Valentine instantly lightened her weight and floated in the air. If she had reacted a little slower, she would have been hit by the vacuum wave emitted by the storm kick. This attack of the storm kick cut the floor apart, and a puff of smoke and dust came out, and gravel also fell on the floor in pieces. Haha, you reacted quickly, Mr. 5, Miss Valentine. Zhang Bei jumped down from the roof and said with a smile. Then, the target is you, a little kid like you, who dares to challenge our Baroque Works alone. Mr. Point 5 pinched his nose and said. Wow, you Baroque Works really think highly of me, and actually sent 2 senior agents at once. But, 2 may not be enough. Zhang Bei said lightly. I am a bomber who can explode all over my body. With the power of this explosive fruit, there is no mission that I cannot complete. Actually, Miss Valentine is enough to deal with you. It's just that when we in Baroque works carry out tasks, we are in groups of 2, with fixed partners. Mr. Point 5 seemed too lazy to do anything, and continued to hold his nose and say, "Ha ha ha, I will use the power of my light flying fruit to bury you, a stinky brat, underground. I can change my weight freely. Now I am so light that I can fly on the wind. Watch out, I am going to get heavier now." Miss Valentine floated in the air, constantly turning the parasol in her hand. 2 kilograms, 3 kilograms, 5 kilograms, 10 kilograms, 100 kilograms, 1000 kilograms. 10,000 kilograms of pressure. Miss Valentine continued to exert weight on herself in an instant, and fell from the sky with a weight of 10,000 kilograms. Shave. Boom. Miss Valentine's feet sank deeply into the ground, creating a big hole. Ha ha ha, you little brat, now you know how powerful we are. Miss Valentine fell very fast, but in her eyes Zhang Bei did not dodge. She thought Zhang Bei was already pressed to the ground by the weight of 10,000 kilograms, but she didn't know that Zhang Bei used a shaving gun to dodge to a place where he would not be affected in an instant. What are you dreaming about? With your speed, it would be strange if you could bump into me. Zhang Bei stood aside and looked at Miss Valentine in the pit and said with a smile. Don't be too arrogant, kid, you want to get angry. Mr. Point 5. He picked out a black booger, held it in his hand and made a shooting gesture, and then the booger was ejected. Bang! A small booger exploded, creating a big hole in the surrounding houses. Wow! You are the most disgusting one, you snot, please don't touch me. Zhang Bei used the moon step to step into the air to avoid the snot's attack. Want to escape? Mr. Point 5 picked out more boogers and fired them at Zhang Bei. Unfortunately, Zhang Bei dodged them all. However, the houses on both sides of the street suffered. After enduring wave after wave of booger bomb attacks, the houses on both sides of the street were already on fire due to the explosion. I wanted to have some fun with you guys, but when I thought about you, I really had to take action. Let me get rid of you first. Zhang Bei said with a look of disgust. Shave. Zhang Bei moved and disappeared on the spot. Breeze breath bomb. Mr. Point 5 seeing Zhang Bei move to his side instantly, he immediately reacted and used the breeze bomb. The breeze bomb can turn the exhaled gas into a bomb, causing huge power. Iron block. Zhang Bei actually intended to hold on to this move without dodging. Because Zhang Bei knew that under the protection of the iron block, this level of explosion would not hurt him. Finger gun Huang Lian. Zhang Bei directly used a big move on Mr. 5. Countless finger guns dotted Mr. 5's body, and blood holes appeared one after another. Hateful. Ah. Go to hell with me. Suicide bomb. Mr. Point 5 couldn't stand the attack and knew he was going to die, so he used the ultimate move of self-destruction to kill both of them. Iron block. Bang. In an instant, a big hole was blown open on the street that was the battlefield. Smoke and fire still remained in the hole and rose into the air. The smoke was so thick that it was impossible to see what was going on inside. When the smoke cleared, Zhang Bei was seen standing in the big hole intact, but Mr. Point 5 had already turned into ashes with the explosion. Mr. 5. Miss Valentine saw Mr. Point 5 explode like this. Her partner who had been together for so long died in front of her. Miss Valentine was furious and used her ultimate move directly from the air to the big pit below. 10,000 kilograms guillotine. Miss Valentine aimed at the big pit and dropped from the sky. This move was so powerful that Zhang Bei was trapped in the huge pit and was afraid that he could not escape the attack range. Iron block steel. Zhang Bei activated the highest defense state of the iron block in an instant. The weight of 10,000 kilograms pressed down, and the impact force generated by the confrontation immediately made the pit sink deeper. Zhang Bei's mouth was sweet, and he couldn't help coughing up blood. After all, the pressure of 10,000 kilograms was real. Even with Zhang Bei's current physical fitness, he would still suffer some minor injuries under Valentine's big move. Fortunately, Zhang Bei still resisted this big move that Miss Valentine used all her strength. What? This guy. What's going on? Is this guy a monster? Miss Valentine couldn't believe that Zhang Bei could withstand her strongest attack, and exclaimed. I didn't want to kill you, but since you want to kill me, then you should die too. Zhang Bei was bearing 10,000 kilograms of pressure, and even the highest defense of iron and steel was unable to withstand it. Haha, let you endure the pain that Mr. Point 5 has endured. Finger gun Wanglian. Zhang Bei is not a person who will be soft-hearted to girls. He moved in front of Valentine in a flash, and the power of finger gun Wanglian directly pierced Miss Valentine's heart. Can. Evil. Miss Valentine coughed up blood and said the last words of her life. Zhang Bei's hands were already covered with blood. He looked a little weird after killing someone. His face was even a little hideous. This scene was seen by Nami and Wei Wei, who were hiding in the dark. The two girls were so scared that they trembled in the corner, not daring to look directly at this horrifying scene. Zhang Bei thought. It seems that the combat effectiveness of these two people is indeed not high, and the fruit ability is not well developed. At best, they are slightly stronger than Arlong. Wait. This feeling is. Suddenly, Zhang Bei's mind moved, as if he discovered something. This is. Absorbed. Still. Seized it. Zhang Bei suddenly felt that his palm was constantly sucking something from Miss Valentine's body, but Zhang Bei could vaguely feel that this was. This is the power of the devil fruit. Zhang Bei's body suddenly became lighter and he flew into the air. Zhang Bei couldn't believe that he actually had the power of the light fruit. Then Zhang Bei tried it and he could control the weight of his body at will, but isn't this Miss Valentine's devil fruit? How could it run to his body? Zhang Bei was stunned and pondered for a long time, and finally came to a conclusion. That is, the devil fruit he ate should be the seizing fruit, although this fruit has never appeared in the One Piece anime. The devil fruit illustrations widely circulated in the world seem to have never been seen, but the ability to seize the fruit is real. If there is such a power, it is really too against the sky. Feeling it more seriously, Zhang Bei also felt the explosion fruit power of Mr. Point 5, but this power is really useless. Zhang Bei frowned and let it leave to find the next owner. Zhang Bei really disliked the explosion fruit power of Mr. Point 5, even if it was given to Zhang Bei for free, he would refuse it. Now there are still a few questions that Zhang Bei doesn't understand, such as whether he can only seize one fruit power. If you can only take away one fruit ability, that would be tragic. After all, Zhang Bei has already taken away the ability of the light fluttering fruit, and this superhuman fruit ability is really a relatively useless ability. Also, if you can take away multiple fruit abilities, is there an upper limit on the number? Can you use them at the same time, and what are the restrictions? These are the issues that Zhang Bei is about to explore. However, when Zhang Bei knew that he had the ability of a devil fruit, his mood suddenly improved. He finally had another golden finger. With this ability, he has a better chance of winning against Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Next day. Hey, Nami, Wei Wei, you two stop looking at me like that, I'm not a cannibal. Zhang Bei said helplessly. Until lunch the next day, Nami and Wei Wei still hadn't recovered from what happened yesterday. After all, that kind of scene was too bloody for girls, not to mention that Zhang Bei killed Miss Valentine, who was also a girl. You won't eat people, but you will kill people. Wei Wei yelled. Nami and Wei Wei didn't sleep well last night, with big dark circles under their eyes. They both regarded Zhang Bei as a devil in their hearts. They were so scared that they dared not sleep, fearing that Zhang Bei would appear beside them as soon as they fell asleep. Hey, I really can't do anything with you. It's just killing someone, and they are not good people. If I don't act ruthlessly, I will be the one to die, right? Zhang Bei explained helplessly. Seeing that Nami and Wei Wei still didn't speak, Zhang Bei had to say jokingly, okay, next time I kill someone, my methods must not be so cruel, just let them die of my handsomeness. How about it? After these words came out, the two girls were successfully amused by Zhang Bei. They no longer bothered about what happened yesterday. Okay, Wei Wei, next you and Ecolem will pass on the false information. The content is that Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine's Day mission failed and they have been killed, but there is only one enemy who is seriously injured and has already escaped by boat. The next destination should be the small garden. Please send a senior agent to set up an ambush in the small garden. Zhang Bei said with a sneer. After you have delivered the message, come on board my boat. We will go to the small garden and wait. Ecolem, you take another ship back to the country and bring back the news, and find a way to help the king put down the rebellion. Zhang Bei thought for a while and said. Okay, I'm ready to go, but you must protect Princess Vivi. Princess Vivi's life is in your hands. See you in Alabasta. Ikaram responded. Wait, Zhang Bei. I suddenly remembered. In this small town of Whiskey Peak, there is also a mid-level agent of Baroque Works, Mr. 13, who is responsible for transmitting intelligence, and Miss Friday. Wei Wei suddenly said. What the hell is this? Zhang Bei was confused. There were so many numbers, Zhang Bei couldn't remember which one was which. That is, there is a sea otter who is good at painting and wears sunglasses, and its partner is a bald eagle who also wears sunglasses. If these two find out our identities, it will be terrible. Wei Wei said in a panic. Well, you were talking about those two cute little things, but I snapped them up a few days ago. No, you were just drinking the soup made with them. Is it delicious? Zhang Bei smiled and said. Ah. After hearing Zhang Bei say this, the two of them suddenly felt something churning in their stomachs, as if they were about to vomit at any time. You pervert. The two said at the same time. Haha, okay, I was just kidding. I just locked them up with the other Baroque members in the town to keep them company. Zhang Bei said with a smile. Zhang Bei had already made up his mind and was ready to kill two more senior agents of Baroque Works at the next destination, Little Garden. If they were fruit ability users, he would know whether they could take away their abilities. So after Wei Wei delivered the message, Zhang Bei and his group set off on a boat. Wei Wei also brought her mount, Running Duck, on board. It took about a day or two to get to Little Garden. Little Garden is a huge island that still preserves the landscape of prehistoric times. But there are things there that are more terrifying than dinosaurs. They are two giants who have been dueling on the island for more than 100 years. Blue Demon Tori and Red Demon Broki. There are dense jungles everywhere. After Zhang Bei, Nami, Wei Wei and Kuaipaoya got off the boat, they looked around and found that the surrounding environment did not match the name of the small garden at all. On the contrary, the trees in the small garden were much taller than normal trees, and the animals were also very large. Zhang Bei and his group even saw a giant dinosaur. If Zhang Bei hadn't knocked down the giant dinosaur as soon as it appeared, Nami would have been scared and dared not get off the boat. Nami, Wei Wei. If I'm not mistaken, this is the legendary Taigu Island, and it's still in the dinosaur era. Zhang Bei didn't have to guess at all, because he already knew that this was the Taigu Island. But, how could this happen? Nami also saw the ancient dinosaurs for the first time, and she was so scared that she couldn't walk. Wei Wei was not scared, and patiently explained to Nami, the islands in the Grand Line did not communicate with each other because of the difficulty of navigation, so each island developed its own civilization. There are islands with advanced civilizations, and there are also islands that have remained exactly as they were for tens of millions of years without any progress. The chaotic climate of the Grand Line makes this impossible possible. So, this island is exactly like it was in the dinosaur era. Moreover, there are giants on this island. Zhang Bei added something that Wei Wei didn't know. Huge giants. I've only heard of this kind of human, how do you know there are giants on this island? Wei Wei asked in surprise. Because, hey, are they coming? The giants. Zhang Bei was about to explain when he felt two giants coming. Bang, bang, bang. The volcano began to erupt. Zhang Bei knew that whenever the volcano erupted, the two giants would go to war. It was really strange that the two giant leaders stayed on the island to fight because of a little girl's boring question about the size of the prey, the Sea King. And they themselves forgot the reason because they had fought too many times and for too long, and only knew that they were fighting for glory. What is this sound? Earth. Trembling. Hearing this strange sound, Nami wanted to escape from this strange island immediately. Well, look, the giants, aren't they right in front of you? Zhang Bei smiled and pointed at Nami's back. Wow. Nami slowly turned her head and saw two huge figures. She was so scared that she stood still and dared not move. Hello everyone, I'm Broki, the strongest warrior in Elbaf village, Hawawawawa. Dear guests from afar, I am the strongest warrior of Elbaf village, Dongli, quack quack. Zhang Bei was not panicked when he saw the two giants. He laughed and said to the two giants, ha ha ha, hello, two giant uncles, I am Zhang Bei, a pirate. They are my friends, Nami, Wei Wei, and Runaway Duck. We came to this island following the route recorded by the pointer, and we will leave after the pointer finishes recording the magnetic force. Zhang Bei knew that the two giants were actually kind and hospitable, so he was not afraid. On the contrary, Nami and Vivi were so scared that they dared not speak. A closer look showed that the giant Brokey was rather fat, with two huge horns on his head. He held a huge shield in one hand and a huge axe in the other, and looked quite funny. The giant Dongli was tall and thin, with a long beard and armor on his head. He also held a huge shield in one hand, and the weapon in the other hand was a giant sword. Dear guests, please wait for us. We need to have a duel between the two of us. Haha, said the giant Dongli. Duel. Wei Wei felt very strange, because the two giants seemed to be very good friends. How could they suddenly duel? Bang. Obviously, the two giants didn't want to explain anything more, but just picked up their weapons and rushed towards each other, with axes and giant swords flying back and forth. The battle between the two giants actually caused the entire island to shake like an earthquake. 72,766 war. 72,766 square meters. Quack quack. Ha wow wow wow. We both feel a little homesick, right? Yes, so I will kill you and then go back to Elbaf, Brokey. This amazing battle ended in a draw with laughter from both sides. Dash 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 dash. Why do you two want to duel when you are friends? Wei Wei asked after the two giants finished their duel. We have a rule in Elbaf village. The giant Dongli replied. Regulation. For example, if we have a dispute with someone in the village, we will be judged by the god Elbaf. The god Elbaf will always protect the right side and let the person who did the right thing live. Then I also made some trouble, and now this island is the duel between Brokey and me. The right person will win and live. But nearly 100 years have passed, and we still can't tell who is the winner. 100 years. You guys have been fighting for 100 years. Wei Wei and Nami exclaimed. There is nothing strange about this. Our lifespan is 3 times longer than yours. Dong Li laughed and replied. Even if they had 3 times the lifespan, 100 years had passed, and they should no longer have the energy to fight. Is there any point in continuing to fight? Isn't this killing each other? Vivi felt a little sorry. In Vivi's worldview, her own people shouldn't be like this, just like the people of her own country, Alabasta, who shouldn't kill each other. How could it be? What deep hatred has caused you to fight each other for 100 years? What is the reason? Wei Wei continued to ask. Reason? I forgot. Ha 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 ha. The giant Brokey laughed and said. In 100 years, they fought more than 70,000 duels, so they should duel about twice a day. Zhang Bei roughly calculated and said. Haha, that's not how we count. We fight with a signal. The giant Brokey laughed and said. I don't know when this became an agreement. The eruption of the volcano in the middle is the signal for our duel. The giant Dongli responded. This is the signal for a duel that has lasted for 100 years. Brokey the giant said. Because we have a longer lifespan than you, think more about how to die. After all, property and life are things that will disappear one day, but if we can die with the glory of an Elbaf warrior, it will be a glorious death. This glory will be passed down in Elbaf. It is an eternal treasure. The giant Dongli said lightly. Ha ha ha, there is obviously no reason, but they are fighting like this is a real fight between men. Zhang Bei also laughed and said to the two giants. Does it really take a year for the magnetism to be stored? Wei Wei suddenly asked. There are so many human bones piled up over there, but you still don't understand. Most of the people who came to this island died before the magnetic force was stored. Some became food for dinosaurs, some died of heat and hunger. Some died because they attacked us. The giant Dongli said lightly. It seems that a year is too long for humans to stay on this island. What should we do? Even if we survive this year, I don't know what my country will become after such a long time. When Wei Wei heard that she had to stay in the small garden for a year, she immediately became anxious. Yes, I will get bored if I stay here for a year. Is there no other way, Uncle Giant? Zhang Bei also asked. We do have a permanent pointer, but the destination it points to is our hometown, Elbaf. In other words, we are actually fighting for that permanent pointer. How about trying to grab it? Said the giant Dongli with a laugh. Zhang Bei continued, that won't work, Uncle Giant, we don't want to go there, we just want to go to the next island, right? Yes, if we deviate from the route to Alabasta, there is no point in moving forward. Vivi thought, if I had known, I would not have let Ikarim take the only permanent pointer to Alabasta. If Ikarim had come with us to the small garden, we would not have to record the small garden and could have reached Alabasta. Then let's just take it one step at a time. If we are lucky, we might get there. Dongli said with a smile. Ha 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 ha, let's do it this way, maybe we can really get there. Zhang Bei also responded by imitating Luffy's fearless tone. Haha, come to think of it, there was someone who left without storing the magnetism properly. Dongli suddenly said. What happened to him later? Zhang Bei could probably guess that this person was the pirate king Galdi. Roger. Perhaps only Galdi. Roger would be as unconventional as Luffy. How could I possibly know? He must have reached the next island. Zhang Bei laughed. That's right, ha ha ha. After saying that, Dongli also laughed. What's so funny? I can't understand what these guys are thinking. Wei Wei was in a very bad mood at this time. She didn't want to listen to Zhang Bei and the giants laughing. Okay, Wei Wei, don't worry. Looking at the time, the senior agents sent by Baroque Works should have arrived. I don't know where they are secretly observing in this forest. Let's deal with them first. Maybe they have the permanent pointer to Alabasta. Zhang Bei comforted Wei Wei and said. Well, that's all we can do. Wei Wei said dejectedly. Two giant uncles, be careful, there are still our enemies in this forest. They are senior agents of the criminal group Baroque Works. This time they received a mission to hunt us down. Zhang Bei remembered that in the play, Mr. Point 3 actually tried to kill the two giants. Although Zhang Bei felt that this was undoubtedly a futile attempt, he still needed to remind the two giant uncles. They are all devil fruit users, and of course I am also a devil fruit user. Although they are not my opponents, they are hiding in the dark, and I don't know what tricks they will play. Moreover, if they are ambitious, they may covet the bounty on you too. By the way, you two should have been bountied 100 years ago. Zhang Bei asked. Ha wow wow wow. Of course, 100 years ago, our bounty was 100 million berries. 100 million. That evening, deep in the forest of the small garden. You actually built a candle house in the forest. You are amazing, Mr. 3. Miss Golden Week said while eating donuts. Ahahaha, my ability is really powerful, unlike Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine, who didn't know how to use their devil fruit abilities, which led to their failure. Mr. Point 3 pushed the frame of his glasses and said. Mr. Point 3. The user of the melt-away fruit, Candle Man, is a man with a wretched appearance but who is very particular about the quality of his clothes and appearance. He has a rectangular face, a hooked nose, and lips as thick as Mr. 5. He wears blue glasses, and his overall appearance is somewhat similar to that of a barber. Of course, Mr. 3 also has his most obvious sign, which is the shape of his hair, which is the number 3 feet, and when Mr. 3 uses the melt-away fruit ability, this 3 feet will catch fire. Rather than calling it the melt-away fruit, it is better to call it the candle fruit. The ability of the melt-away fruit allows one to melt one's own body and change shape at will. The candle mucus produced from his body is as hard as steel after solidification, and is highly resistant to corrosive poisons. In addition to being able to change shape freely, it can also trap enemies. The disadvantage is that the candles produced will melt when they come into contact with flames. Mr. 3's partner Miss Golden Week is a cute little girl wearing a red hat, with a round face and blush on her face. She likes to drink tea and eat snacks. Although she does not have a devil fruit, she has the ability to control other people's emotions through the paint on the palette. She can use the paint on the palette to mix colors to hint at others and control their emotions. She often has a blank expression and looks very cold, but her appearance still makes people feel cute. I have to thank them. Look, this is a bounty from 100 years ago. The blue ghost Dongli, the red ghost Buluoji. Giant warriors, and they are now on this island. Their bounty is a total of 200 million berries. Ha ha ha. Mr. Point 3 said with a big laugh. So, what are you going to do? Miss Huang Jinzhou asked expressionlessly. Good criminals commit crimes with good brains. No matter how high the mountain is, as long as you use your brain, you can flatten it. Warriors are just like wild boars. There is no need to fight seriously with those who can only fight head-on. Even if we are not as strong as them, we have brains to make up for this deficiency. Miss. Golden Week. When the two giants fight next time, you should make a paint trap first, and when they are almost done fighting, activate the paint trap to control them, so that one side can win. And I will instantly trap them with the candle jacket. Mr. Point 3 had already thought of a plan. Although in the original One Piece anime, Mr. 3's plan was not like this, but because Mr. Point 5 and Miss Valentine were killed by Jongbei, Mr. Point 3 could only come up with such a plan. So, what are you going to do with Jongbei's group? And Miss Wednesday seems to be in their hands, do we need to capture her alive? Miss Huang Jinzhou asked. Miss Wednesday. She is already a traitor, betraying our Baroque workshop. The boss's order this time is to get rid of them. Mr. Point 3 responded. Ahahaha, because my motto is small investment, big crime, there are as many ways as I want to deal with the enemy without fighting. Mr. Point 3 said with a big laugh. The plan is perfect, but it's a pity that your plan is going to fail. Jongbei opened the door of the candle house and applauded Mr. 3. Oh. The prey fell into the trap before the hunter even set out. Although Mr. Point 3 had his back to Jongbei, he could tell that Jongbei was coming. However, Mr. Point 3 was not panicked at all. It was obvious that Mr. Point 3 was still very confident in his candle fruit ability. He did not think Jongbei would be his opponent. I am Mr. Point 3, sorry for introducing myself by a code name. I am just a plastic artist, and this is my assistant painter Miss Golden Week. Mr. Point 3. Introduce yourself calmly. Come on, stop wasting time and get your candles out. Jongbei sneered and said. You dare to laugh at me, then I'll let you taste the power of candle art. Mr. Point 3 directly activated the fruit ability, and the candle turned into liquid form and was released from Mr. 3's hand. It instantly rolled into a ball and stuck to Jongbei's feet. It was like a shackle that tightly locked Jongbei's feet. Wow. Why can't I move? What should I do? I'm so scared. Jongbei said while pretending to struggle. Mr. Point 3 seeing that Jongbei couldn't break free, he laughed and said, Ahahaha, give up, give up. My candle shackles are as hard as iron after solidification. Even if you have the strange power of the giants, it's useless as long as you are trapped. Oh. Is that so? Flying finger gun fire poker. Jongbei suddenly stopped struggling and used the flying finger gun fire poker directly, and the candle shackles were instantly melted. How is this possible? What kind of trick is this? Mr. Point 3 was originally very confident, but he felt an unspeakable danger from Jongbei. Take that, candle ball. Mr. Point 3 throw a bunch of sticky candle liquid towards Jongbei, and the candle liquid slowly solidifies into a ball in the air. Unfortunately, before the candle ball is finished, Jongbei once again uses the flying finger gun to burn the candle ball. Can't you see the situation, Mr. 3? You, a candle man, are very afraid of fire. Even a small flame can burn your candle out. Jongbei said lightly. How do you know my weakness? Mr. Point 3 started to panic. He was always confident, but now he felt like he was being led by the nose. Only by knowing yourself and your enemy can you defeat them. You lose not because you are too stupid, but because you are too confident. You trust your devil fruit ability too much and ignore your own weaknesses. Jongbei said lightly. Don't say it too early, it's still unclear who will win or lose. Draw the trap quickly, Miss Golden Week. Mr. Point 3 shouted to Miss Huang Jinzhou behind him. Oh. Are you talking about your partner, the little sister? I think her ability is a bit troublesome, so I have already knocked her out. So, what are you going to do? Hee. Jongbei couldn't bear to do anything to Miss Huang Jinzhou. First of all, she was not a devil fruit user, so there was no need to kill her. And this little girl was so cute, so Jongbei took advantage of the two people's inattention and used a flying finger gun to instantly knock out this little girl with little fighting power. Take that, Candle Champions Cup. Mr. Point 3 still didn't give up and directly activated his ultimate move. The candle liquid wrapped around Mr. 3's entire body, making him look like a robot. Thanks for watching.